Lawmakers won bicentennial celebrations steering committee summoned. Assemblies of God, Liberia elects a new bishop. Let's move to the back page of the Heritage newspaper. Said Jlateh urges businesses to give to the needy, giving back to society. Representative Fala envisages big picture for Liberia's educational sector. The ECOWAS laws Liberia on this history rewriting. Higher Education Commission permits change agent network university to begin operation. Let's continue with the Inquirer newspaper that says EU envoy embraces Liberia's democracy, but EU envoy embraces Liberia's democracy, boss. But I mean, education requires commitments and focus. The speaker tells Stella Marie's graduates. 11 arrested, 2 wounded in Bututa standoff. Lions Club International holds regional meeting. The back page of the Inquirer newspaper says President Weah condemns military takeover in Burkina Faso. AMLL sympathizes with Nuclear Town 10P victims, present 10,000 United States dollars. Our final paper is the front page newspaper that says fraudulent honorable council deal. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs wrapped up in questionable foreign service deal. The photo of Henry family. Critical crimes location, United States Department of State puts Liberia on crime C indicator on the travel advisory. Armed robbery, armed men impersonates a soldier. One of the men arrested said to be an AF personnel who was retired due to ill health, but did not return his gun. Central Bank of Liberia destroys wound out 669,000 Liberian banknotes to pave way for the circulation of the new family of Liberian notes. All mutilated banknotes burned. It says, and I quote, I'm quoting from Aloysius Talo, is the executive governor of the central bank. He says, we just brought these hundreds in June and July. We are going to the 500 notes, the 500 notes, the 50s and the 20 bank notes. We want to be very clear that there is no need to rush. It is a 2 to 3 years process. We know that 2023 is an election year, and there will be no money coming into the country. Aloysius Talo, he is the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia. Lofa County citizens vent out frustration over Supreme Court's latest ruling ordering the incarceration of Senator-elect J. Brani Samoka vowed to stage hunger strike. And they said, we are disappointed. Damawa K. Soko, a marketeer supporter of Brani Samoka, says in a quote, since yesterday, last Thursday, up to now, I feel hurt and disappointed from the ruling. We went from village to campaign and vote for Brani Samoka with our willing hearts because we love him and because we knew that he will advocate for us and change Vonjima. I think you can see this mark on my feet. It was during this campaign I got this mark on my feet. I have not put food in my stomach since last night. I'm even angry because we voted and they can't give him the power. We are really, really disappointed. The photo of the bloody soldier, according to the bloody soldier, former Defense Minister Brani Samoka, Senator-elect, yet denied to take a seat. His photo is on the front page of the front page newspaper. Let's go to the back page. Lone Star players yet to receive promise bonus. Don't worry about that. Those are newspapers that we have today. Andy.
Thank you, Timax. And that's it. This is welcome to 50-50 again this morning on this 31st day of January 2023. Our guest is a professor at law at the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. Professor, I'd like to say. Councillor Findley Karngar. Welcome to 5050, sir. It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
Yeah, we are addressing three critical questions here, and we couldn't have chosen any other person to discuss these concerns that maybe many people out there have also, but invite someone who's lecturing law. We want to know, is Liberia, if Liberia is a country of law on the books, but outlaw in practice? Well, maybe you can further expand on that. What's the appropriate method that can be employed in maintaining the rule of law? Did the president's fifth SONA succinctly or elaborately address justice issues in the country? Timax, you want to pick it up from there?
Yes, I want to pick it up because all persons during his reign in Liberia said this country is a country of law, not of country of men. They must be guided on the principles of law. Taylor then said, realize the fact that Liberia is a country of law. I don't know from what indication he was speaking. So we pondering over this and see exactly what's happening and in courts. The issue of Brownie, someone got the issue of Alexander Benedict Cummings. A lot of issues on the dock. Is this country
Kabila Jana issue as well?
Kabila Jana, ECOWAS ruled in his favor. Government has not complied. Is this country the country of law?
Thank you, big brother Jlateh. Thank you, Matthias. I'd like to say good morning to young listeners out there, and to wish them, to wish every one of them well. It might be helpful for me to state a disclaimer here. While it is true that I am a lecturer at the University of Liberia Law School, Louis Adokran School of Law, my views here are not in any way sanctioned by the law school, neither the student or the University of Liberia.
Right.
As an ordinary lawyer, I have the right in order to have a conversation with you.
Right.
And so, having stated that disclaimer, your topic is very interesting, considering the fact that you have sort of like guided our audience to understand whether or not Liberia is a rule of law. As a country that's based on the rule of law, or whether that concept, that principle is only on paper.
Right.
It might be good to take a step back. As a lawyer, we are so narrow. Whenever questions are presented, or we tend to sort of retweak them in a way that we properly understand them. Now, my understanding of the question is whether or not the legal principles that we have adapted as a country that are found within our culture and our constitution, we are abiding by them. In order to answer that question, it might be a good thing to sort of understand what it is about our justice system and who the actors are. And that would then serve as a basis for me to continue in answering the question. Now, our justice system comprises a number of individual and institutions. They are found within the executive branch of government, and you also find them within the judicial branch of government.
Right.
So the justice system will include agencies like the Liberia National Police. They're going to include folks like the military. They're going to include folks who are NSA, and all of those who are justice actors. They contribute to the enforcement of the law. That is their work. All of those entities that I just named, they are members of the president team. You understand, the president of Liberia has the right in order to enforce our law. So that component.
Does he have the right to abuse our laws?
Abuse is another thing, which is wrong. Our law does not allow abuse in any manner and form. Okay. And so the president, all of those who act in those functions of enforcing the law, they are working at the behest of the president. And so wherever they do, it's been sanctioned by the president. And then you have the other actor, the judiciary. The judiciary is a separate branch of government, and it is meant to be independent based on our culture and our constitution. That branch of government is headed by the Chief Justice, and for now is honored Francis C. Popo.
Right.
He heads that branch. And that branch actually deals with the court system. The court system in the country, they are basically in three categories. you have what we refer to as a small claims court, or you call it the magisterial court. Alongside the magisterial court that work alone would be the justice of peace court. They are all referred to as the small claim court or our lower courts. Above that, you actually have what we refer to as the circuit court and other specialized court, but they are all within that categories. Above that is the Supreme Court, where the Chief Justice presides as a head, along with 5 associate justices. Now, and that is the judicial branch of government. They deal with the court system. That branch does not in any way enforce the law. They do not have that authority. That authority was not given to them by the Constitution. The only work of the court is to ensure that the laws of the land are interpreted.
I think, Councilor, let me just get in a little bit. What were we getting from your explanation so far? Maybe you trying to lay the basics and get to further points. Then you're telling us about how this law is distributed, how the power is distributed. We're asking a specific question. As a lecturer, we don't expect you to come directly, but is this place a country of law on the books? Because all the institutions you're talking about, they were created by the very law we are asking whether it's a country of law on the books or in practice. In practice, is it a place of abuse of these laws? Because talking about abuse, Timan asks, does the president have the right to abuse our laws? He abused the code of conduct countless times. It's on record.
Right. Now, so let's
are we practicing the law on the books, or we are abusing it in practice?
Thank you. So in order to get to that,
right,
it's important to understand the various arms of the justice system. And then you get to know whether there's an abuse or there is not an abuse. And that's what I try to lay out.
Right.
So going back to my point is that the judicial branch of government, that actually is the court within this country, they do not have any power to enforce the law. The only constitutional power that they have is to interpret the law. So you go to them and say, look, I have the issue. They interpret that.
Right.
Whatever decision that they come up with, the enforcement is done by the president and his team. They are the law enforcer. So if you understand that, then you get to know which of these folks, whether they are abusing or not. But because I'm limited as a lawyer, I like to spend most of my conversation on the judiciary.
Can you qualify your statement limited?
Yeah, I'm limited. Lawyers are all buyers. We are buyers, and everything we discuss, we only discuss the law. And my duty here as a lawyer is that I owed a special duty to the court system of this country, and by and large, this country as a whole.
Right.
But the court is what regulates my authority. So I want to limit most of my discussion to the court system.
Right.
Whether or not the court system is operating based on the books or the court system is operating outside of that. Now, there are a number of instances that we would then consider as example in order that there has been an abuse or whether there hasn't been abuse. But it's good to know that former Chief Justice Honored Francis Johnson Addison once stated that the jury system in this country was an evil system. And the reason for which he described it as an evil system, it was plagued by corruption in terms of how the jury were then selected, in terms of how they were actually placed in the function, in terms of how they were then being paid. So they were advocating for an enhancement into the jury system. Years later, the jury law was enhanced. They referred to as the jury management law. That law, the implementation should be done by the executive because they are the law implementer. That law is an attempt in order to have some improvement in how juries are selected and how juries will function in court. Now, that law cannot be implemented because the executive that actually hold the purse of money has actually denied the judiciary the ability to have enough money in the budget in order to roll out that jury law. So today, the jury law cannot actually be implemented. Now you're talking about abuse.
Right.
The president is under obligation at all times to enforce our law. The fact that the president cannot enforce the jury management law, that jury management system is going to be true or the public library, the president has abused the law. It's a violation of the rule of law.
That makes him above the law.
Yeah, that makes him acting outside of the confines of the law, because all laws should be implemented based on their enactment, and the government should provide necessary resources that will ensure that the laws are implemented. So the jury management law today, it cannot be rolled off. For example, if you went to Grand Cru, you are unable to use the jury management law. Under that jury management law, in order to say as a juror, 1, you must be at least a high school graduate. 2, you must be employed, and you must be able to read English. You cannot do that today in Grand Cru because no system is in place there. We are not being able to have an office.
Why are you using Grand Cru as an example?
I'm using Grand Cru as an example because in order to implement the law, you know, start from afar. Grand Cru is in the Far East. We don't start from them before they come down. But if you would do a law that is Monrovia based, all right, Monrovia, you are using that law now in Monrovia, you are using that law now in Bond County, and you cannot use that law in Margibi. So it means that is an abuse of the law.
You've already registered an abuse here.
There's an abuse.
There's an abuse already.
There's an abuse.
It's in the presidency.
Indeed.
Without being specific, whether President Weah or Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the president has abused the law, or most of the time abuses the law. Does that make the president of the Republic of Liberia above the law, even though he or she is guided by the law?
But that's another conversation. The ad is above the law is different from abusing the law.
But now, if someone abuses it and it goes scot-free, that at some point presents them like they're above it.
So let's see what it is. My students will be listening to this and will be interested in what it is about abuse and above. Now, if you say abuse, it means one knows a thing to be done, but he fails to do that. That is the scenario that I just told you. The jury management law cannot actually be ruled in other places. This president has actually failed to doing that.
I'll let you flow, sir.
Now,
so if someone
above,
please go ahead.
And above the law is someone who does not recognize that indeed there is no law. Through the presidency of President Weah, he has always indicated indeed this is a country of law in that man. So he recognized the law, the legal principle as a basic for the existence of the country. So he cannot be above the laws. So there have been no time that any other person has indicated that they are above the law.
But if someone abuses,
let me. This is just going in circles. I'm getting impatient about the way it's flowing. The question is Liberia or country of law in theory, but not in practice. You are a lawyer in high standing, even though you say you limited. I want to give you I want you to elaborate on me in the context of whether we are adherents to the rule of law, or Liberia is under the rule of law, or we just playing. I gave you a case study of the case of Brani Samoka. There is your independent decision. Brani Samoka on this radio said he was asked by the CDC to be on their ticket. He refused to be on their ticket. Right here where you said it. He said, I've served the United Party for 12 years. I'm the longest serving minister. I will not do that. I can't. Now John, leave my party. I'm going to go to my party. And he ran on the ticket of this party. He won. After Brani Samoka won, we have this case. Brani Samoka embezzlement days, even though Brani Samoka gave the authority by which he did what is claimed to be criminal, the person who gave him the authority, the person is here in Liberia. Nobody has ever asked the person. Matter of fact, when the government took the government paid what is considered to be a criminal thing, pay some of the money. That points to the fact as a good lawyer that the government is in adherence with the government being continuity is adherent to what the previous president mandated Brani Samoka to do. Brani Samoka won the elections. It threw Brani Samoka to court. The case went back to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, hey, come on, the man has the right to run. He ran. And this is where we are. I'm asking you. Does this signify Liberia as being a country of law? Okay, respect the law. I wanted to deal with the case too.
Right.
So let me give you another case.
Right.
The case of tempering document, which has been the case all over the place of Alexander Benedict Cummings of the CPP and ANC. Bernard Uriscreen, he tampered with the document without showing any specific indication of what portion of what section of the organic law of the framework was altered. He has not shown that. He went to court. Now the case is as if it it is coming versus the public library is a different case altogether. The court is Liberian. The court is asking him to produce evidence against himself, whereas this evidence against yourself as a defendant was something. It's an archaic law in 1972. It's been changed since 1986. So where is this coming from in the view of these gross violation? Is Liberia a country of law?
Thank you. So the context
I'm asking
you brought two specific examples
as a lawyer,
right?
Not as
Two specific
representative of outlaw. So don't get timid on that, because it is your expert opinion that I want, and you've been practicing and you're teaching law. So look at all these glaring examples. I want you to be specific with me that it is a country of law or not.
Now, the two examples you talk about, there is a concept that referred to as apartheid. The apartheid system means a segregation system. The doctrine and philosophy of apartheid has been exercised by many other entities. For example, our two-man students recently have said our justice system is more of the apartheid side of legal system. Under apartheid, they use the law as a basis in order to punish opposition or dissenting voices. In our system, they use it as a means in order to actually come down high against those who did not support the apartheid system. In Liberia today, you find that we run a segregation policy. It doesn't mean that we are not a country of law. We are a country of law, but we use the law in a way, a manner that it favors one group against the other. If you take cue from
how do you define for being a country of law? The symbol of the lady in Capitol Hill is she's blindfolded. How do you define for me a country of law?
Okay. So let me just conclude and we'll come to that definition.
Because by the headline that what we practice here is apartheid, it means it's not a country of law. Yeah. It's a law crafted to go against people that you view, that you perceive to be your enemies. You go after them, and that is not a practice of law.
Now, a segregation system, like in Liberia, the way it's being classed, most of my students will say it is our time. That principle is our time is a segregation. Now, they use the segregation by using the law as a basis to promote that.
So that is
so what you are finding is
that is not law.
Indeed, it's a country of law, but that's operating on an apartheid style system, segregation. So you use the law as a basis in order to come after your enemy. For example,
so there's not, it is not a genuine practice of law. It is a weapon used to go against people that you perceive to be your enemies, and that's not the root of law.
If that is the basis, that's why it is. Then it means indeed that Liberia as a country is a country of law, but we have developed a segregation
outlaw in practice.
No, not a law. You have used a segregation practice as a means in order to harm others. Take a case in point, the second case to talk about. The Edison Cummins versus, the government of Liberia versus Edison Cummins, right? That case is the same concept on the apartheid framework, segregation. It is our time. Now, what are the legal basis for taking Cummins to court? Now, did the complainant has the standard, the minimum standard provided by law, as has been established by the Supreme Court, to do that? But those matters are before the courts. And because the technical matters are before the court, I'm not going to dwell on the Cummins case, but I can ask the technical questions. And so the point that you raised, whether now one can actually provide evidence against himself on our current dispensation, our legal process as it is today, they say when one is accused, he's considered as an innocent person until his accuser has provided whatever information they have against him. He doesn't have to make any statement. Now, anything that is contrary to that is a violation of our organic principle, our law. So indeed, this country is a country of law. We have been a country of law. Have we abused that? Indeed, we've abused it. So I will spend my time with the judiciary as a basis to understand how we have abused some of the things. Now, it might interest you to note that one of the problems we have in the judiciary is the fact that many scholars have said our judiciary is a weak entity. And because of the weakness, they have not actually provided decision and said, liberty, the guardians of our liberty and our freedom. That's what the judiciary does. They guard our liberty and our freedom. And scholars have argued over and again that Liberia has one of the weakest judiciary today because of excessive executive dominance. Now, what are the abuses then that we have within the judiciary today? One of the abuses that have been perpetrated by the government is the fact that there is a law that is called the Judicial Autonomy Law, or Act. Under that law, the judiciary budget is not to be questioned. So when the judiciary does the budget and they submitted that budget to the legislature is to pass that into law based on the Judicial Autonomy Act. That law was passed by this. Today, this government does not follow that law. Whenever the judiciary submit a budget, they skim it down. The budget for a long time now, for 4 years running, the budget was the 16 million, 17.2 million. Today, the judicial budget is at 17.4 million. Now, that is an abuse of the judiciary autonomy law. It's an abuse.
Wait a minute. So the budget is drafted and
according to law.
According to law, the judiciary, in the appropriation and distribution of the budget, the judiciary branch has been victimized of that.
Right.
Does that in any way, are you telling me our system or custom of the rule of law is based on the availability of money allocated to the judiciary?
Or determination by the executive?
If I just can't understand why you can have justice on the whims and caprice of the president based on what he puts in the budget for the judiciary.
In addition to that, T-Max, I would like to add, Professor, is abuse punishable under the law?
Indeed.
It's punishable.
Yeah. Abuse
of the law. Is it punishable under the law?
Of the law is punishable because it means that what a society has said you should not do, you are doing that, which is one of the basis for actually trying to develop laws.
So because
one of our laws we have is the Judiciary Autonomy Law that was enacted 2010.
Right.
Under that law, because it was an attempt in order to provide independence to the judiciary. So that when the judiciary do the budget is going to be obeyed. To date, that has not been the case. Now, if you look at it, if you listen to the President's Nation advice, he has said bulk of our money goes towards recurring costs, that is salary. The judiciary has the proposed budget today has really had $17.4 million in there. Of all of that, 85% of that money goes towards salary. Now, that actually limits the judiciary ability in order to run programs. The judiciary will be conducting training for our personnel. Trainings. We need
like the case you mentioned in Grand Crew.
Right, like they train people in there for the jurors. We cannot run that. So it's a violation of the judiciary law. Who is doing that?
I asked the question, sir, about abuse, whether it's punishable. So in the absence of, the authorities responsible to punish someone who abuses the law, how do you think critical thinkers will put that, even though it's not legal, their critical thinking may not be legal? How do you think it's going to be seen? Isn't that going to be seen as, this is a country of, outlawness? People are just going to be outlawed. This is not a country of law. It's a country of law on the books, but outlaw in practice, because
the executive has been, for a longer time, has been dominating and influencing the implementation or the operation of government.
No one does anything
for a long time.
No one does nothing.
And indeed, many a times we don't take any action, but we take our action at the polls. You remember that we took an action which was a public action against the Unity Party-led government, and we now brought in the CDC. So we have action to take. Now, if we find that the President Act or those who are in the executive, they've actually violated certain codes, we can actually complain them, right? For the president, if he violated to the point that it becomes a treasonable action, indeed we can impeach him. That's going to be punishment. But a mere mistake, right? A mere mistake will not be punishable because he has the discretion in order to make decision. But a violation, like the judiciary law, for example, that is a ground for impeachment.
Okay, before we take that break, I want the lawyer to the professor to clear this. Is the underfunding, in your judgment, underfunding of the judiciary intentional by the executive?
Indeed, it is. It is.
that Liberia should not be the country of law. We used to sing this song. I don't know whether you are or Christian background. We used to sing this song. If money was something that if heaven was something that money could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die. It means that in Liberia, whatever the president wishes in the practice of our law, it depends what the president says. If he wants the laws to be bogus, he underfunds the judiciary, the law to be bogus. Is that what it is? Now, and the only redress we got is to go to the polls after 6 years. People are being violated, and our only redress, according to you, is to go to the polls and impeach him and don't vote for him.
Now, we are the one that structured our government.
The people.
The people. What I'm saying, the people of Liberia. If we are noticing all of these problems within our government system, it is time to change. For example, we give our president so much power to appoint like everyone in the judiciary. I'm going to be limited to the judiciary. In the judiciary, the president appoints the clerk of the court. The president appoints the sheriffs of the court. The president appoints the marshal of the court. The president is the point everybody. The president appoints the court administrator. We have got to change.
So in other words, technically, the president decides. He decides only of everything.
How legal matters go on. I handle.
Now, this will happen. For example, President Tubman, and that was 1956. President Tubman prevented a sheriff from carrying on his function as a sheriff only because that sheriff was appointed by the executive. The specific case is a case that has been cited by many Liberian lawyers. We cite that case. We show a weakness in the judiciary. And one of that weakness is caused by the Constitution. And that case is called Bahosulin versus Nelson. In that case, Nelson should have gotten a judgment, and the sheriff would have put Nelson in possession of based on the court order. But then the sheriff of the court, the sheriff of the Supreme Court, failed to do that. So Nelson went back to court and issued the writ of mandamus. The Supreme Court said they were unable to issue the writ of mandamus against the sheriff because the sheriff was an agent of the president. That is a flaw in our appointment power. If you want to wreck the country anew, you need to attack the Constitution in a way, for example, that for the judiciary to become independent, the judiciary need to appoint their own staffers, like a sheriff.
Do you agree with Serena Cephas, the Solicitor General, what you say? Because he's appointed by the president.
That makes him the law.
That he is the law. Do you agree? Since indeed the executive determines what our law should be, what our final determination of our case should be. So to put what Serena Cephas said, the Solicitor General about that, he is the law.
But have you seen Councillor Serena Cephas made such a statement?
Countless times.
Well, we must look at the context.
Is it wrong to say that he is the law?
The law is not an individual. The law is a concept. It's a concept that put us together as a country. And that concept is based on 3 fundamental principles that we find within our Constitution.
The executive branch of Liberia, of the government, is the law. You agree?
No.
How can I
say so? If people say that, let's look at the context. But assuming it's a generality that is being stated that the executive branch of government is a law, it's a violation of our Constitution.
From what you've said, I think it sounds that way.
No one is rooted in our culture. It is rooted in our norms. It is codified into our writing. Now, our Constitution said that basic. 3 reasons for which we form this country.
But the practice is not in our laws. The practice not in our norms. The practice and the conclusion of any case is determined by the executive.
We know that indeed there have been excessive executive dominance.
So we are now a country of law.
So we are a country, but
in theory,
there is an abuse of power by the executive due to so much great power
given to it by the Constitution.
Yes, and we can change that.
We're going for the break. This is 50-50 after this break.
Hey yo, what's up, LIB man?
T-Brush, that you? Hey, what are you for you, man? I'm surprised because most of you keep quiet for when you go to America.
Come on, man. I told you I'll make a difference, girl. By the way, I need to send you some cash for her that the banks are closed today in LIB.
You sleeping? That bro going to another level. You can send your script to my phone.
Receive money from your family and friends in the US directly into your Orange Money wallet. Yes, you heard me right. Tell your loved ones to download or Small World money transfer apps or visit their websites to begin transferring. Visit www.orange.com.lr for more information. Free for sender until 30th November.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
Good news for ya. Who wants y'all to watch everything conversation? Me. Okay. Bobo, you take her money to pay for the things I talk for my honey. She over there. Amos, send money to my phone fast. Send for rent about you.
Great news for all football lovers. Use Orange Money to cash in or cash out and stand a chance to win cash, devices, or a ticket to the AFCON final. Yes, you heard me right. All this plus many other prizes. Dial *154# to begin transacting. First prize, all expense paid trip to watch the AFCON finals, plus promotional materials. Second prize, luxury 4G smartphone, plus promotional materials. Third prize, $100 cash, plus promotional materials.
Mipa, I'm interested in the device I cash if you win, yeah.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
After being in the business for more than 20 years, Uptown Garage has all it takes to make your car work best for you. Uptown Garage has brought in all sizes of new quality tires. We also have the efficient and long-lasting Uptown batteries. Uptown Garage has also brought in a state-of-the-art 2022 upgraded diagnostic machine that can easily detect any problem with your car. Don't worry, we can fix it for you. Is your car having any electrical problem? Well, Uptown Garage has a professional electrician from Ghana who is up to the task of programming and solving all of your car electrical problems. Uptown Garage is at the intersection of Broad and Nelson Streets with the Uptown Spare Parts Store on Broad Street side. We have our garage and new showroom at Rehab at the junction of President Weah's residence. For original spark plugs from Japan, oil filters, engine oil, and everything you need to get your car working perfectly, come to Uptown Garage. We give 1 month warranty. We also provide a tow truck free of charge if we are the ones to work on your car. But we can also tow your car anywhere for a fee. Contact Uptown Garage head office on 0777 553317 or 0886 553317 or our rehab branch on 0770 902865. Uptown Garage, your 100% Liberian owned, is here to put a smile on your face.
Welcome back to 50/50 on Sky 107.1. Today is the 31st of January. Liberia on YouTube. You're certainly going to get a clear view of this. We're doing everything we can with our partners. The internet, embarrassing internet issue that keeps interrupting. Join us now on the program by calling us on the numbers 0777 777 107, 0777 221 223, 0777 777 107, 0777 221 223. But still drop your comments there. Princess is pretty seated after celebrating her birthday to read out the comments. Let's hear from this first person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yes, I'm Lawrence Kimaya, speaking from Ben Street, Snapper Hill.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, welcome to the professor and studio. Our laws in Liberia, they are just on a book, but practically these are not working. They are working for a big shot, and some are in a fraternity. They got somewhere in the code there when you are from one of these fraternity centers, they got a way to judge you. And then you'll just be rushing after a justice system and your shoes will just eat up and you have no justice. So I think we have to listen to the international partners to do more, to put in more funding so that we can change this bias system. And the poor man got no right.
Okay, thanks for your contribution on the program this morning. You two call us on those numbers, 0777 107, 0777 221-223. We have Councillor Findley Karngar here this morning. He's a professor at law at the Louis Arthur Graham's School of Law, and we are asking some 3 critical questions. He's not even addressed the second one. That's the third one. I mean, we're asking, is Liberia a country of law on the books, but outlaw in practice? What can we do? What methods can be put in place to ensure that we maintain the rule of law? Let's hear from this other person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
And good morning to Lena Councillor. This is Jlateh.
Mr. Lome, go ahead, sir. Make your point.
Council, the last time I heard Mr. Johnson, Arthur Johnson, talking about this time to go sue, you have to get money to pay the judge through that. I mean, to go to the register to pay. So he said, even for the poor man now to sue is difficult because you don't have the money to do such a payment. I would think that we can reduce the thing that when somebody wrong the poor man, that when you go to court, you're able to get justice. Because one of the things again, we know that in this country, when you get money, you get justice. Or sometimes the justice system have been crossed into by the executive. What are they doing? And some are the bar association sitting and watching the thing, laying it to go on a carpet, or your guys, some decision you will be taking against the executive because there are 3 separate branches of government. But we realize that the executive is putting all part of this government, the 3 branches, anything the executive wants from the court, that what will happen. So what best practice we can put together to save Mama Liberia from the disgrace. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your contribution, Mr. Lome. You to do the same call on those numbers: 0777-777-107, 0777-221-223. Is Liberia a country of law on the books, but outlaw in practice? We have a Lende Councillor here, Councillor Findley Karngar is in studio. He's lectured us this morning, but you two can do the same. Call us on those numbers: 0777-777-107, 0777-221-223. The numbers you can call us on to participate. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Good morning. All right, that person left the line, but call us back on those numbers. Our numbers are pinned on the screen: 0777-777-107, 0777-221-223. The numbers you can call us on to be live on the program. If you are having issues joining us on the line, you can drop your comments. We're going to read them out for you before the end of the program. But better stay, join us on YouTube, on Sky FM and TV Liberia. This person is on the line. Good morning. Good morning. All right, yeah, let's do that. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Yes, you can continue joining us on the line. Better stay. Those of you who are still having issue with the Facebook Live, let's move on to the YouTube. The WhatsApp number is also pinned there. That's 0777-221-223, right? Yeah, call us on the WhatsApp via the internet. I think that's going to be clearer. The lines are jammed, so I strongly believe that's why some of you are finding it difficult to get through. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yeah, Matthias, quickly, please. I forgot this question.
30 seconds, Lome.
Yeah. Mr. Karngar, we learned that the lower court said Honorable Samuka should pay a portion of the money. After you pay, we saw the SG running back to the Supreme Court. So was that right? The interpretation of that identical law, was that right? Please give me the clarity.
All right. Let's move on to another person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Larbeindee.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Let me say good morning, my papa, Mark. Let me say good morning to your guest. I am Michael E. Plomo Sr., and I'm from Waterside. I'm a member of the International Alliance of Liberia.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I listened to the guest, right? You see, this kind of conversation I felt it for us. Because most of us Liberians, we are ignorant to the law. And so when you have this kind of, programs on the radio, you're making a monthly lesson or a weekly lesson for us. So some of us who at least can read a bit, can read these things, listen to them, and start to tell people in the prayer community so that we're going to move forward. Because we need to be law abiding. Because if you live in a country that are law, then we wouldn't move nowhere. For example, look at what happened at the court when coming to at the court. Security, we enter the court here, the national security takes over everything. But coming personal security instead of giving him security, I don't know, they start questioning the court security, they injure the guys, they butcher them. So we need to be law abiding this place. We need to follow the rule of law. Thank you, Mark, for the opportunity.
Thanks for your contribution, Michael. You can do. Let's hear from this other person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matthias. Good morning to the countryman Liberian.
Please go ahead, sir. Make your point.
My name is Ibrahim Political Mojesetu. and I call from the most talk about the Avenue this morning.
Go ahead.
Let me appreciate the Councilor in Karngar for a legal opinion. I think he spoke very lengthily. Council, I think the law is only on the book, not being practicalized. For example, when the elite against the bookman, the elite will also want to go to court, the elite will be protected more than the person who cannot afford. So I think it's not fine. It is totally unacceptable. And lastly, Councilor Karngar, as a human rights lawyer, I want to ask, it is right for police officer to receive money for a complainant before to go arrest somebody?
Okay, let's move on to another person. Thanks for your contribution, sir, on the program this morning. Good morning. Are you there? Yes, you can also call us on the WhatsApp number. I think T-Max wants me to take more calls so that you people can participate and also afford the councillor an opportunity to respond to most of your concerns. Call us on WhatsApp as well on 0777-221-223, 0777-221-223. Call us direct as well on the main line, I mean 0777-777-107. Let's hear from this person on the line here in the phone ring. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yes, so let me take you to the councillor.
Go ahead.
I think if you want, he explains everything as the law it is that we all know. It's true. You don't need rather than say that the law is on the book, but it's not very practical, especially by the government. The three principal targets. None of your records can say that it is a wish fund by the government, because if you follow our status or what happened on our cases, you will know that the case of Cabinet was only because you have sending you, even though on one of the lesson authority the power. Now the case of Kumi, you look at it, you know that it's a wish fund. The case that is because you know, maybe probably the only person to speak for what's going on is the so you have to find. And coming now to the case of Bami Samuka, you know, because they're not journalists, that was the only reason the team to wait on this. So what we are saying is we know and we do all this. And I think the information that Mr. Samuka is not in the country, he has fled for refuge. So that is a food for our country. I think the government needs to apply justice to let people not elected. Justice in the process. That's what the citizen comment is very much elected.
Thank you.
You know, I come in. You know how many people who are corrupt in the government, but they're not fighting it. So in case of kind of they are all of them, but no talent. Also, color kids. And the government are going after them. The government will not do it before they are the government. So we say that justice for all and should be fought in any way so that something is going to retrograde.
Thanks for your contribution, sir. Let's squeeze in a few more persons and hear from our guest.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Good morning.
Fine, thank you. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my brother, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the country. This Adama,
please go ahead.
My brother, let me tell you the truth. I'm a poor man. I not get right. So I want that councillor to be my lawyer.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're looking for somebody to have to represent your legal interest. Just find time. No. I don't get time for nothing. Let's take our break. When we come back, we give the council a chance to address some of the concerns raised by our callers.
Hey, y'all. What's up back home in LIB, man?
T-Brush, that you? Hey. What are you for you, man? I'm surprised. Because most of you keep quiet when you go to America.
Come on, man. I told you I'll make the difference, girl. By the way, I need to send you some cash, but heard that the banks are closed today in LIB.
You sleeping? That brought on to another level. You can send your script to my phone.
Receive money from your family and friends in the US directly into your Orange Money wallet. Yes, you heard me right. Tell your loved ones to download the BNB or Small World money transfer apps or visit their websites to begin transferring. Visit www.orange.com.lr for more information. Free for sender until 30th November.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
Me. Bobo, you take her money to pay for the things I talk for my honey. She over there. Amos, send money to my phone fast. Send for rent about you. Listen,
Great news for all football lovers. Use Orange Money to cash in or cash out and stand a chance to win cash, devices, or a ticket to the AFCON final. Yes, you heard me right. All this plus many other prizes. Dial *154# to begin transacting. First prize, all expense paid trip to watch the AFCON finals, plus promotional materials. Second prize, luxury 4G smartphone, plus promotional materials. Third prize, $100 cash, plus promotional materials.
Viva! I'm interested in the device I guess if you win, yeah!
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange. After being in the business, Garage has all it takes to make your car work. Uptown Garage has brought in all sizes of new quality tires. We also have the efficient and long-lasting Uptown batteries. Uptown Garage has also brought in a state-of-the-art 2022 upgraded machine that can easily detect any problem with your car. Don't worry, we can fix it for you. Is your car having any electrical problem? Well, Uptown Garage has a professional electrician from Ghana who is up to the task of programming and solving all of your car electrical problems. Uptown Garage is at the intersection of Broad and Nelson with the Uptown Spare Parts Store on Broad Street side. We have our garage and new showroom at Rehab at the junction of President Weah's residence. For original spark plugs from Japan, oil filters, engine oil, and everything you need to get your car working perfectly, come to Uptown Garage. We give 1 month warranty. We also provide a tow truck free of charge if we are the ones to work on your car. But we can also tow your car anywhere for a fee. Contact Uptown Garage head office on 0777 553317 or 0886 553317 or our rehab branch on 0770 902865. Uptown Garage, your 100% Liberian owned, is here to put a smile on your face.
Thanks for being there. You're listening to 50/50 on Sky 107.1. We apologize to you, our valuable viewers and listeners out there, that we may not be able to read our comments because we had issue initially starting the show online. But please, next time, if you are having issue with the Facebook, please just switch to YouTube, Sky FM and TV Liberia. There you're going to drop more comments. The counselor responds to some of the concerns you people raised why phoning in this morning. I just want to read something I just discovered from the Houston Law Review. It talks about the rule of law. It provides some definition of the rule of law, and it says, counselor, the rule of law refers to a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, and independently adjudicated, and which are consistent with international human rights norms and standards. It requires as well measures to ensure adherence to the principles of supremacy of law, equality before the law, accountability to the law, fairness in the application of the law, separation of powers, participation in decision-making, legal certainty, avoidance of arbitration, and procedural and legal supremacy. With all this said, kindly respond to your concerns, the concerns from the listeners, and I'm just going to squeeze in my question at the end.
Thank you very much. The definition, as we just read, that discussion, indeed, is encapsulate what it is about. Asset justice and the rule of law. A professor of mine, Professor Anmi Purit, from Australian University School of Law, he said, discussing why it is about rule of law and asset justice, this is the way he puts it. Do unto others as you have them to do unto you.
That's biblical.
Yeah, that's a golden rule. And the legal principle they just read is in line with the golden principle. Equality, fairness, justice. They all work together in a way to promote a country culture, the economy, and the people. A violation of those will get a country to be in chaos. Right now, the multiple views from most of our courts right now, that is frustration. They are expressing frustration on the implementation of the law. What they have managed to do, they have been able to identify indeed that this is a country that have laws written, that has laws and norms and principle. What they've been frustrated about is the implementation of those. And most of what we discussed is not fair.
They don't trust the justice system.
So
they believe that there's no justice.
Because
someone is even asking that you serve as their lawyer because they're poor. They don't believe that they can go there and get justice. Then how does the application of the law in fairness take effect? How does it take effect? How does the application of the law, legal avoidance of arbitration, participation in decision making, how does the separation of powers come in? When all these things are not practicalized.
That you are discussing, there's huge frustration. If you want to take Solens to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, they are documented why we actually had a civil crisis. Some of the things that are documented in there, they continue to happen today. They've said there has been excessive executive dominance. There has been a patronage system. There has been a government in which those who are in power mass wealth unto themselves. Those are happening today. If you were to conduct what is referred to as lifestyle audit, you see how rich those in government are and how poor the country is going. A recent report from Amnesty International has indicated Liberia is amongst the most corrupt countries in the world. And when that is indicated, it means your governance system is actually challenged.
Does that also mean that we are not a country of law?
Mean that we are not a country of law.
Does that mean that we're not a country of law?
No, it doesn't mean that.
If the Amnesty International gave a piece that put Liberia in the category of the most corrupt country in the world, it means that we're not adhering to law.
Not necessarily, but this will happen. Because of law, that is why your entity is established. Because the legislature has wanted you to establish it as a citizen, to establish a business. So it's a law, and you are in compliance with that law. It is because of the law that guarantee free speech under our Constitution and under the Universal Declaration and the optional protocols, ECOWAS treaty on good governance and all of that for which we are here talking today. So indeed, we are a country of law. Our problem has been that they are being challenged to access to justice. Our people do not access justice because of poor administration by the executive. Now
we gotta go.
So in order to conclude in terms of violation of our laws is the fact that laws that have been promulgated are not being equally applied. An example would be the code of conduct. One of the key requirements of the code of conduct to have that code of conduct managed and administered, there has got to be an individual or a group of people that are going to be called ombudsmen.
Right.
They were to be appointed, and they were to be based on the appointment. They had to be confirmed by the Senate so they can implement the code of conduct. This government under President Weah has failed to do that. That's a violation of the law, which impede access to justice. There is no entity that can actually regulate the code of conduct because the president does not have the will. Now, how can you solve this? Which is a large problem you ask me. If we have the problem, how can we solve them? It's the will. President George Weah, the president.
From the executive?
From the executive.
Just one man.
Yes, because
the entire country looks up to one man.
Indeed.
To have a will in order for change to be effectuated in the country.
Yes, based on our current constitution, he has got all the power. I just told you. The judiciary itself is actually being influenced on the base, for example, number one, all staffers in the judiciary are appointed by the president. It's only one entity, a government yet that appoint their own people, and that is the legislative branch of government. They appoint the people. The judiciary doesn't do that. The sheriff, the marshal, the clerks, and all judicial personnel are appointed by the president. Because of that appointment power, he has the executive dominance and influence. Now, how can you move forward to improving this country, to ensuring that we will then hold accountable people who violate the law? Viewed our constitution to limit the president power, for example, to limit that in a way that the judiciary themselves should be responsible to appoint some of their own people. Appointing judges. Judges are appointed in the country based on political relationship, political allegiance, based on sectionalism. So you find
Sando County is an
Right.
example.
So you find people, not specific, that it's a
Well,
political
I'm
decision.
saying it.
Right. It's a political decision that the president got to make. If you want to move forward, one of the things you got to do is to have a legislation in place that will empower the judiciary, probably to run a judiciary commission that would then vet people and have them recommended to the president. But if the president is going to be appointing judges based relationship, then they're going to be total interference.
Thomas,
Lastly,
can we ever have a will here? The councillor has concluded his thought and say that, well, Matthias, I understand you ask about method we can apply or employ in ensuring that we uphold the rule of law. We're talking about will, and this will is coming from whom? Guess what? The president.
He must have the political will. And to Princess to give us the comment is that
the producers are saying there are no comments now, so we have to just
no comments. Okay,
so we can just wrap it up with him.
Okay, so my own disappointment is that I want people to be brutally honest with their conscience, with their doctrine, with their beliefs, with their norms. Liberia is not a country of law.
Are you definitive about that?
Very definitive. I'll give you three typical examples. Three examples of we're not adhering to law. The cases of Cummings, the cases of Brownie Samuel, of Kabina Jenny. Where are we going? Like you say, that it is intentional by the executive to underfund the judiciary so that you can. I mean, you will be the judge. You will be the everybody. The jury will be by the will and pleasure of the president. That is not adhering to the rule of law. That's what I'm saying to you. Yeah, we have the laws of the books, but we don't practice it. If we are not practicing what we believe to be our guidance, then we are not of that principle.
Well, that is an opinion, but let me ask a direct question, Councillor, before I leave. Well, we haven't this particular piece I read here about the rule of law, principles of governance in which all persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated. Do you agree that the National Elections Commission, as an autonomous agency of government, a body of government, was established by law? Do you agree, sir?
Indeed, because this country is a country of law.
Does the National Elections Commission have the right to certificate whoever?
Wait a minute. What are you jump starting that? In your mind, as one of the respected legal luminaries of our time, is that National Elections Commission in your mind independent?
Thank you. Now, the National Election Commission, like other entity, is established by law. You know, such as to let you know that this is a country of law. All of our entities are established based on legal principle,
right?
And they are meant to solve a problem that we identify. The National Election Commission is established in order to ensure that they will minister elections and whatever things that are associated with elections.
Right.
The independence of the Election Commission is another thing. The law that established the National Election Commission has a challenge. It gives again the president the power in order to appoint those people. Now, if you do that, you find the influence in there. Liberian people have got to stand up to develop the will within themselves and say, look, we must change some of these laws. If you need a National Election Commission to be independent, why can't we elect those people? Why can't we have a commission in place that people can vet them to appoint them? So there are things we have here, but it's our will. If you are going to continue to elect people because they're going to build you a school, they're going to give you $1, then you are going to actually mess it. We need to do something new. By doing something, we need to develop that will, that we will not elect people into government who pay us money. We will not elect people in the government who do not have the professional competence in order to run this country.
So the will is divided in the context you present. The will from the people, the will from the
will from the government. Now, at the time we have the will, things will change. Things will change. Now, is there anyone right now can hold a person accountable and say, I voted you because I wanted you to appoint a competent person to run the code of conduct?
But do you think that the people themselves, are they using the power given to them by the Constitution? Because the Constitution says the power is vested within the people. Should they try to impeach the president while he's in office? You think it's going to work?
And that is why, in order to give the people power, you need to get an opportunity for learning. And that's why the government is actually trumping against. The government has said they want mass education. And so the government is going to pay school fee. Of course, a discriminatory policy. That policy is only used for people who are in public school. What happens with those who are in privately run school? the government discriminate against them. That's a violation.
So
thank you very
everyone
much.
in the
Our
country.
time is up.
Yeah, Tim has got to go. You know, so the independence.
Can I conclude?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So to conclude is that this is a country of law. It's a violation in terms of access to justice, but we have got to do that to improve that by developing the will by the people and the will by the president and his team to ensure he implement all the laws.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our learned councillor. Tomorrow morning, my special studio guest will be the Liberty Party. Well, guess what? They were expelled by the Nyomli faction of the Liberty Party. Mind you, the Nyomli faction, the Musability faction said they were going to be held responsible for not paying their dues as enshrined in their constitution. Well, they said they had a meeting in Buchanan, and that Nyomli faction, Nyomli and DeLong faction, along with Zago, expelled Musability and his group. Who caused the shots? We'll find out tomorrow morning on 50-50.
My name is Matthias Larbeindee, and thanks for all of you. Thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. Councillor Findley Karngar has been our guest. He's a university lecturer. Do join us tomorrow on 50-50 as well.
Thank you very much.
Broadcasting from Monrovia in the King Booker building on Broad Street. This is Sky FM 107.1.
No need to